The San Antonio Spurs got their first crack at the NBA's new rookie sensation, Victor Wembanyama. Spurs Warriors closing out the preseason. Steph Curry decided to tip things off with Victor. He didn't win that, and early on the Warriors didn't win the matchup against Vic. You saw the fadeaway jump shot. Then Wembanyama with the block on Clay and just literally kind of toys with him on the other end of the court. Defense leading the offense from the Spurs' prized possession. More defense from Victor midway through the first. He's going to get the block on Wiggins this time. And then Victor's going to show you the grind. He nails the three-pointer. San Antonio's like, oh my goodness, look what we found. We're still in the first. Victor's been playing hard. Big fella finally got a little tired as you see Steph Curry get the offensive board and then nail the three. All right, that's enough. Time to give the big fella a break. He would return in a second, and maybe he's still a little tired, still trying to get his NBA legs. As you see, Jonathan Kuminga just get to his spot and high arc that bad boy over the 7'4" Wembanyama. Victor still trying to figure it out. Legs look pretty good there. He nails the three. Third quarter we go. It's the big fella with another block. And then Victor Wembanyama out in transition. He's going to dunk this thing just over Steph. It's almost like Curry's not even there. Victor Wembanyama, arguably the NBA story in the preseason. How about 19 points, 5 blocks, 4 rebounds? Klay Thompson has not been great in the preseason, struggling to find the range once again. Let's go through and name the guys that need to have a bounce back season this year. And I think they will. At number 10, I got Cade Cunningham of the Detroit Pistons. Pretty much no-showed last year. He's back with a couple new toys in Detroit. Number 9, Chet Holmgren missed the entire season last year. So if he gives OKC anything, it's better than what they had last year. Number 8, Darius Garland. I never felt like Donovan Mitchell and Darius Garland really found that groove in Cleveland year one of the D-Mitch experience. It's got to be better for Cleveland this time around, right? We shall see. Number 7, Chris Middleton now has Damian Lillard as his point guard. That dude named Giannis is still playing basketball there as well. Chris knows that the future of Giannis and Dame in Milwaukee and their happiness is likely going to come down to his knees. Number 6, Jordan Poole. Jordan obviously got blamed for what went wrong in Golden State, even though he got hit in the face. They blamed him, traded him for Chris Paul. Jordan's going to have a field day scoring the rock in Washington. And at number 5, Jordan's new teammate, John Collins, also got the boot from Atlanta. Collins, his athleticism has really been held back by the Hawks the last couple years. I think in Washington with no expectations, he'll shine just as much as Poole, if not more. At number 4, since we're all talking about Washington, how about the guy they traded, Bradley Beal's now in Phoenix? Ladies and gentlemen, for the first time in Bradley Beal's life, the third best defender on an opposing team is going to be guarding Bradley Beal. He's going to have a field day offensively. Number 3, I saw some really great stuff from Jabari Smith Jr. in the Summer League. I think that's going to propel itself into the season. I think J.S. Jr. is going to be really good in year 2. At number 2, it's Ja Morant. Although he's facing a 25-game suspension, let's be clear, Ja does play above the rim, so 25 more games of rest. It's not going to hurt the Memphis Grizzlies as they look to make a second-half run behind their star young guard. And at number 1, Klay Thompson has to have a bounce-back season. He's in a contract year. The Warriors could easily pivot off of Klay. They're already deep in the luxury tax and give Steph a different type of option the next season. So Klay's got to show that it's still the Splash Bros and not the Splash Bro and a dude that used to be really good at shooting three-pointers. 2 teams that had high expectations last year. Could they get it right this year? Minnesota Timberwolves in Chicago to take on the Bulls. First quarter we go. Nikola Vucevic on the record of saying this is probably a do-or-die season for this iteration of the Bulls. He looks good thus far. Had 21 points and 10 boards in this one. Other end we go. It's Anthony Edwards for show. Nice little Euro step, deuce plus the foul. And then AE getting to his spot and showing you that he's got a wicked jump shot. T-Wolves up by 10. DeMar DeRozan still really good. More DeRozan accepting the screen and doing his due diligence. DeRozan, the deuce plus the foul. He's probably the best in the league right now at drawing fouls. Chicago's now up a deuce in the second. It's Edwards up top to Rudy Gobert. And then this time around, Anthony Edwards needs no help. It's AE down the lane. That Chicago defense down the drain. Edwards trashes it. And you know, he's a guy that says he doesn't like doing a lot of in-game dunks, but if he's giving us one in the preseason, maybe, just maybe, more dunks from Edwards this season. This is what he's been doing, which is nailing threes. He had 19 points to lead Minnesota in this one. Third quarter we go. Trey Brown nails not just 1 3. Game so nice you probably should do it twice. Minnesota starting to take over now. You know, Naz Reid was a big cog to this puzzle while Karl Anthony Towns was down. Then Naz Reid ended up getting hurt to end the season. Minnesota is healthy, ladies and gentlemen. Could they be a threat out east? Garza with the finish. T-Wolves win. Maybe you got Joel Embiid, last year's regular season MVP, as your best player in the world. Maybe you got Giannis Antetokounmpo as your best player in the world. Heck, I got Nikola Jokic as the best in the world right now. But who are 10 guys out there in the NBA that still have the opportunity of being the best in the world at some point in their career? At number 10, I got Anthony Davis of the Los Angeles Lakers. When he's clicking on all cylinders, more importantly, when he's healthy, there's really nobody out there that can affect the game on both ends of the court the way he can. Number 9, I got Devin Booker, still a fairly young guard. D-Book's gonna have all the opportunity in the world to not only be a great scorer for Phoenix, but also now a great playmaker for the Suns. At number 8, Zion Williamson. There's nobody else in the NBA with his body type. If he can just put together 60 to 65 games of great health, I think the NBA can really see how dominant this dude is and how controlling he can be of that big old body that he's got. Number 7, Paolo Banchero. Reminds me a little bit of Carmelo Anthony. And there were points in Melo's career where we definitely had the conversation of, is Melo just as good, if not better, than LeBron during those early Denver-Cleveland days? At number 6, Trae Young. This dude is a walk-in stat machine, guaranteed to average at least 25 points a game and at least 10 dimes a game. Last time I checked, that puts you in the best player of the world realm. Deadly from the three-point line as well. Number 5, Anthony Edwards. Here's one for the people. AE is an explosive athlete. His jump shot reminds me of the great Tracy McGrady. This dude is going to average 30 points. If he can be a better defender, there's no reason why he can't be in the conversation of best defenders and scorers, which means best players in the world. Number 4, Jason Tatum. You got to believe he's going to have his crack at the best in the world at some point in his career. Plays for a big-time organization in the Boston Celtics. Probably the greatest small forward in the game right now. Every year the Celtics are in Eastern Conference Finals contention. JT might have that under at some point. At number 3, Ja Morant. When you talk about a guy that reminds you of Derrick Rose, Russell Westbrook, and Damian Lillard combined, if he can get his head right, the game is already there for Ja Morant to one day potentially be the best in the world. At number 2, the rookie Victor Wembanyama. We've never seen anything like this. 7'4" with the ability to put the ball on the ground, get you into your offense, be the offense, then's got the audacity to go on the other side of the court and be your team's best defender. It doesn't matter if Victor Wembanyama is not where he needs to be offensively right now. He will get there. This is Anthony Davis, but 5 inches taller and more athletic. Yes, he has the potential of one day being the best in the world. And at number 1 in the hood, you got to assume Luka the Don Doncic to one day hold the title of best in the world. Let's keep in mind, Luka would admit to you that he walked into the NBA not in the greatest of shapes. He's only done nothing but get into better shape every year of his career while still averaging 25, 8-8. He's always had the expectations of being one of the better, if not best players on the court since he was like 13, 14 years of age. His maturity in the way he plays the game of basketball, you got to believe is going to manifest in one day holding that crown as the best in the world. Those are my 10 guys that I believe have the best chance of being just that at some point in their careers. Two former number 1 overall picks that also went to Duke. It's Paolo Banchero and the Orlando Magic playing host to Zion Williamson and the New Orleans Pelicans. A little preseason action here. It's Zion ripping Banchero clean. He gives it to B.I. with the expectation that he's going to get it back, and he does. He throws down the old alley-oop. And then how about Zion? More defense. It leads to the big fella throwing down the load. Orlando's going to make a run here, courtesy of the brothers. We're happy, and we're I can't say the rest of that. It's Franz and Mo with threes. Franz had 19 in the game. Mo had 16. Magic go up by 7. And if some is good, more is better. How about Gary Harris joining the fun? He nails the three because it really ain't no fun if the homie can't get none. Here we go. It's Zion with more. He wasn't done. He had 16 points. And then how about another former number 1 overall pick in this one? Markelle Fultz with the steal. Banchero with the throwdown. Look at this nasty footwork from Ingram. B.I. getting it done. McCollum knows who to get the rock to. Ingram had 18 points. We got a tight one as we go into the third quarter. McCollum this time on a do-it-himself mission. We're tied at 69. And then Mo Wagner decides to untie this one with the grown man attack of the basketball. But then the Pelicans turn it up and never look back. It's Jordan Hawkins for 3. And off the Malcolm Hill miss, Trey Jamison's going to get the tip in. And the Pelicans win this preseason affair 104-92. Let's go 5 players in the NBA that if they don't have a bounce-back season, I can see the trajectory of their careers changing dramatically the following year. At number 5, I got Chris Middleton of the Milwaukee Bucks. Chris has to be number 3 of this big 3. The Bucks got a commitment from Giannis Antetokounmpo, and I do not believe they're going to take that for granted. Be clear, we see it all the time. Guys sign deals, and then 2 years into the deal, they demand a trade out. If Giannis is not happy, he's already let it be known. He doesn't mind putting pressure on Milwaukee to go get great, and if not, maybe somewhere else will be his spot. We know Damian Lillard will demand out. If he doesn't love where he's at, he's already done it once with the team that drafted him. Chris Middleton has to finish the season for Milwaukee this year. These knee issues are starting to mount, and the questions are if we've already seen the best of Chris Middleton are very relevant. I could definitely see the Bucks making a second straight splash, a second straight offseason if Middleton is not the Chris of old this year. Number 4, Ja Morant. Would the Grizzlies trade Ja Morant if he didn't have a great year after he comes back from suspension? I don't think so, but I will say this. If Ja Morant were to get suspended again for something related to guns on social media or just seemingly not taking advantage of the opportunity that's been presented in his life, I could definitely see Memphis moving off of Ja as the face of the franchise. Maybe looking in the direction of Jaren Jackson, Desmond Bane, or somewhere else. I'm not saying that they would trade Ja, but definitely saying, all right, we can't build around a dude that doesn't understand his talent, his value to the league, and what's at stake for him. Number 3, Kawhi Leonard is looked at as one of the greatest forwards of this generation, but he is starting to fall backwards on that list. Kawhi, unfortunately, had his prime taken away from him because of injuries. If Kawhi can't play 50 games, I'm sorry, at some point we got to start taking him out of the top 10, top 15 players of the best in the world conversation, because you got to be healthy to be in those conversations. 40 games for a guy of Kawhi's caliber is just not it. And I can see the Clippers starting to maybe make the transition like a Grant Hill of moving Kawhi to the bench and acclimating him as a 6-man going forward. It's also a contract year for Kawhi. Number 2, Zion Williamson. Look, Zion, we know you love Dallas, Texas. But our question is, do you love basketball as much as you love Dallas, Texas? The New Orleans Pelicans are trying to find it out this year. We've seen the best of Zion, and we've seen what he could be. But the reality is he ain't been it enough for the Pelicans thus far in his career. Zion's got to be there, man. We know what he is when he gets to the court. It's just all about him getting to the court. That's the only issue. He could use one great, healthy season for the Pelicans. And number one, this could be it for Ben Simmons. Unlike these other guys, I could see a scenario where if Ben doesn't have a great year, I could see the Brooklyn Nets buying Ben out of his contract and move off and off of him altogether. And depending on his attitude, I could see teams around the league saying, nah, I'm good. Why would I get this guy that can't shoot the ball, can't space the court? Why would I get him around my franchise, have him be in this distraction? Teams boo him all around the league. The home fans boo him. He doesn't seem to love this game like other guys that love this game. I got guys begging me for a roster spot, and this dude just seems to take it all for granted. If Ben doesn't have at least a bounce back year in Brooklyn or wherever he plays basketball at this year, I could easily see the NBA moving off of Ben Simmons for good. In my Dr. Umar Johnson voice. From a preseason perspective, it didn't get too much better than this. Two technically rookies, Chet Holmgren and Victor Wembanyama, dueling it out. Spurs and OKC taking on the Thunder. This one lived up to all the hype, as you see Wembanyama with the dunk, and then Victor with the block. More Wembanyama going right at Chet. Chest to chest, man to man is what you put in the gym versus what I did. And clearly Victor likes his chances. More defense from Wembanyama, and then throws it down with Holmgren in the vicinity. But Chet ain't backing down the war. It's Holmgren going and one, showing you the muscle. And then more Chet. Like, I don't take kindly to that disrespect. Gathering the Josh Giddey miss and scoring with the reverse layup. Other end we go. No, you didn't, Victor. It's the preseason. Relax. Wembanyama at the rim. Wembanyama for three. He had 20 points and 5 boards. Not to be outdone by Holmgren. He nails the three. By the way, we managed to get somebody else in the highlight, not named Victor or Chet. It's Wallace with the steal and the throwdown. But back to Chet. It's Holmgren. 2 of his 21 points. Also grabbed 9 rebounds. Third quarter, this one's still tight. This is one of those pickups that you know is going to work out. Davis Bertans, now Oklahoma City Thunder, he nails the three. OKC's got the lead in the 4 is Trey Mann. Beautiful reverse. 106-100 is the score. Spurs going to get a crack at this one, though. First things first, Devontae Graham gets the 3 to roll. And then a chance to win this one. It's once again Graham getting a look. It's no good. Thunder hold on to win a tight one against the Spurs by 1. I think this year's Rookie of the Year conversation has the chances to be one of the better ones that we've had in quite some time. A lot of talent, a lot of young, explosive, long talent. Pause. I got an honorable mention here. The Thompson brothers did not make my top 5. And the only reason is because they both got drafted to teams in Houston and Detroit that both got a lot of young, great talent. So shout out to Sur and Amin. I don't have them in my top 5. I do have Amin's teammate, though, Cam Whitmore. And I know I just said I don't have Amin and Asur in it because of all the young talent they're playing around. But I want to be clear. Have y'all seen Cam Whitmore? He fell in the draft to the Houston Rockets. This dude's going to have some explosive plays, probably a lot more than Amin will have year one. Do not be surprised one bit midway through the season if Cam Whitmore is very much so a part of the Rookie of the Year conversation. At number 4, Brandon Miller of the Charlotte Hornets. I just think he's going to have a lot of opportunity to make his mistakes and get better from it. If you look at LaMelo Ball's game, he loves to pass the basketball. And obviously Miles Bridges' future is still up in the air with pending stuff going on legally. LaMelo's going to pass the ball to somebody. He's going to average 10 assists a game no matter what. I believe young Brandon Miller's going to be a guy. If he can find a way to move without the basketball, I think LaMelo can light him up and get him some easy looks. I got Brandon Miller at number 4. At number 3, Scoot Henderson. The Portland Trail Blazers moved off to Damian Lillard for a reason, all right? They've been playing this game with should we trade Dame for years now. They moved off of him after they got Scoot Henderson. He is all that and then some. This dude is a walking highlight in transition. Shout out De'Aaron Fox. I believe he's the fastest in the league with the ball in his hands. I think Scoot is easily number 2, and he will one day be number 1. This dude can make plays as soon as he touches the basketball. I expect him to have all the opportunity in the world to make plays for Shaedon Sharpe, Anthony Simons, and all those young bulls down in Portland. At number 2, I got Victor Wembanyama. Now, Victor obviously is going to have all the hype, all the expectations, all the TV games. He's probably one of the most highly talented prospects that the NBA's ever brought in. My only difference with Victor and my number 1, which is Chet Holmgren, is that Chet's going to average more rebounds than Wembanyama. Now, I do believe Victor's going to affect the game more on the defensive end. Here's my thing, though. Victor's going to probably come out of the gate and block a lot of shots. But I think over time, guys are going to stop driving Victor's way, which is going to bring that block total down. I do believe Wembanyama's still going to affect a lot of shots with his length, but obviously affecting shots isn't in the box score as prevalent as blocking shots, which I believe Victor might average something like 19 points and 5 rebounds a game, right? Chet, on the other hand, has the opportunity to average like 18 points and 10 rebounds. Not to mention, Chet already missed his rookie year, but he still was with his Oklahoma City Thunder team, which means he's got an opportunity to learn more about his body, what he likes, what he doesn't like. I do believe Chet has the edge over Victor Wembanyama by that much in the Rookie of the Year conversation. Ladies and gentlemen, the Boston Celtics look absolutely scary with this new Big Four. They were in Charlotte to take on LaMelo Ball and the Hornets, and if you don't believe me, just check it out for yourself. Drew Holiday's going to find Jaylen Brown. He nails the wide open three-pointer. And then Jaylen Brown's got the steal. Holiday with the easy find to Brown. It's almost like these dudes been playing together for years. JB led Boston in scoring with 20. You cannot forget about this dude. This is one of the NBA's premier scorers. Tatum had 11. Celtics already up a bunch. If you're a Hornets fan, here's a bright spot. I was not expecting LaMelo Ball to be back and ready to go to start the season, but he looks good there. Had 16 points in this one. Ball-headed Derek White is back with Boston. Derek White had that big tip in to force Game 7 in the Eastern Conference Finals. He goes for the bucket there, and then he finds Porzingis inside. If at first you don't succeed, try again. Porzingis goes there and won. He had 14 points, 12 boards. Boston's up by 26 points. What can Brown do for you? Well, he can get in the lane and throw it down pretty much through the entire Hornets defense. This one is already a laugher, and it's Boston doing all the laughing. Drew Holiday moving and grooving inside for the deuce in the third. Peyton Pritchard's going to find Keita, who goes up top. This is probably the new Robert Williams, right? To end this highlight, we will show you a negative. Not a lot of positive in it, if you're being honest, if you're a Hornets fan. Frank Ntilikina is going to injure himself, man. And look, it's the preseason. You want guys to go hard, but as you see, he clearly injures that lower leg, maybe that ankle foot. He will leave the game and not return. My top teams in the Eastern Conference going into the 2023-24 season. At number 10, I got the Brooklyn Nets. They got a lot of good players. They're going to win some games. Number 9, I got the Detroit Pistons making a huge jump forward. Kate Cunningham pretty much missed all of last year. He's back, and he's really good, man. Number 8, I got the Miami Heat. They pretty much designed their whole offseason around getting Damian Lillard, and they didn't get him. They lost a couple of pieces, and guys like Gabe Vincent and Max Strus, I expect them to regress a little bit. Let's not forget they struggled to make the playoffs last year. Number 7, I got the Chicago Bulls. If you listen to Nikola Vucevic comments in the offseason, it's do or die for this era in Chicago this year. At number 6, I got the New York Knicks. I thought that was one of the more fun teams to watch in the NBA throughout the season. Obviously, those Madison Square Garden games are always electric. They got a team on the court now that can win a lot of those close games. Remember for years, the Knicks used to always be in these close contests but lose them? Well, Jalen Brunson is your point guard now, and he's stable and mature for his age. Some of those games that the Knicks used to lose, they're going to win down the stretch because they got a legit floor general running the show now in New York. Number 5, I got the Atlanta Hawks bouncing back. I thought trading John Collins made the Atlanta Hawks a much more defined team. For years now, I go to a lot of Hawks games. I just thought they didn't have a great definition. They had athletes at center. They also had your prototypical bigs like a Clint Capella and Yeka Nkangu. Well, now we know Nkangu is the center of the future going forward. He'll probably be the starter. Trae Young is still, to me, an underrated point guard. He's really good in the clutch. Atlanta's going to win a lot of games this year, I believe, compared to last year. At number 4, I got the Philadelphia 76ers taking a tad bit of a step back. And I love Joel Embiid, but this James Harden scenario, I don't think it's going away. There are rumblings about things that James is dealing with his family. He's yet to show up. I got the Philadelphia 76ers taking a step back. We know he doesn't want to be there in Philly. I don't think this is going to bode well for that Sixers team and their morale. In some of those games they won last year, I think they'll now lose. Number 3, I thought one of the slept-on moves of the NBA offseason was the Cleveland Cavaliers bringing in Max Strus. They need a floor spacer, and simply trying to count on Isaac Okoro was not enough. He's not the floor spacer that they needed. I thought Max was a great pickup that's going to do a diligent job of creating some space for Donovan Mitchell and Darius Garland. I want to see DG on the ball more. I thought Garland did a better job of getting guys like Evan Mobley and Jared Allen involved year before last. Donovan Mitchell is great, but oftentimes it's a one-man band with Donovan Mitchell. This is not Utah. Cleveland had some motion before D-Mitch got there. There are rumblings that Mitchell will one day leave Cleveland. So I think everybody will be all locked in on getting back to playing a team concept versus the Donovan Mitchell 70-point show. Number 2, I got the Boston Celtics in the Eastern Conference winning a lot of regular season games, because they always win a lot of regular season games. When you talk about Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown, ladies and gentlemen, when they walk into your building on any given night of the regular season, these are 2 dogs. They don't play no games. These are dogs walking in your building. And I know they got a lot of playoff experience, but they're still young guys, and they're dogs walking in your building. Add in another dog in Drew Holiday. I thought the Celtics took the biggest risks this offseason, bringing in Kristaps Porzingis and Drew Holiday. It's one of those ones where if it pays off, you look smart. If it doesn't, you look dumb from moving off of guys like Marcus Smart, Grant Williams, Robert Williams, things that were working in Boston. They put aside the working to go for the legendary greatness. We shall see. And at number 1, from a regular season perspective, I'm expecting the Milwaukee Bucks to just bulldoze their way through teams. Giannis pretty much has become LeBron in Cleveland the first time around, and LeBron never played with a guy like Chris Middleton, let alone a guy like Damian Lillard. Offensively, the Bucks got it. Assuming Middleton can be the Chris of old and we're past his knee issues, they're going to average about 115 points a game. The only question is now, do they have enough defense? Do they have enough athletes? We'll see what first-year head coach Adrian Griffin can do with this team from a defensive perspective. I think a guy like Jay Crowder is somebody I expect to benefit much more under Adrian's tutelage than he did with Budenholzer. We shall see, but from a regular season perspective, I definitely think the Bucks are going to steam past a lot of 20-point plus victories for Milwaukee. That's why I think from a regular season perspective, they're going to be the cream of the crop in the Eastern Conference. Man, it's been a very long time since LeBron and Durant have battled each other in an NBA format. 2018 to be exact, LeBron and the Lakers taking on Durant and the Suns. And first things first, shout out to Anthony Davis. Beautiful dime from D'Angelo Russell. AD kind of hijacked LeBron and Durant's preseason action. It's more defense from the big fella, and LeBron will take it and score it. Anthony Davis, though, like I said, the first half was all about his presence on defense. He had 6 blocks in the preseason. What are you on, AD? Save some of it for the regular season. Can't forget about the easy money sniper Durant. Led the Suns in scoring with 21. Can you do some for me? LeBron had a pretty darn good preseason game as well. How about 19 for Savannah's husband? And then Anthony Davis chipped in 15 to go along with those 6 blocks that I aforementioned. Lakers look really good, man. A lot of depth to this squad. It's AD off the ditch from new Laker Taurean Prince. Lakers led it at the half. You know, the new wave in the NBA is to play a half in the preseason and then go change out of your clothes. I hate it, by the way. Durant's done for the evening. Anthony Davis is not. He gets the block on Nurkic. And then Yusuf goes harder. He gets to score. The Suns take the 1-point lead. D'Lo's going to find Austin Reeves, who nails the three, even with the contest. Lakers look really good, man. I'm telling you. Grayson Allen, the new son, he looks good. Phoenix got a squad as well. Can't forget about Bradley Beal and Booker not playing in this one. And then Drew Eubanks with the throwdown. Suns win this one going away. Let's try to predict how the standings will be at the end of the regular season out west. At number 10, I'll say the Utah Jazz will claim that spot. You know, Utah got off to a fresh, hot, vibrant start post Donovan Mitchell and Rudy Gobert last season. Lauri Markkanen had a chip on his shoulder. But if you're asking me, can Lauri bring that same chip back into this season? I just don't see it, man. I do not. They don't have a bona fide star just yet. I got to have Utah at number 10. They're just lacking that firepower that you're going to need out west at number 9. The Oklahoma City Thunder definitely got that firepower. They're just very young. I expect big things from SGA and Chet Holmgren. I like the future of that squad. But next year, I just think next year is the year that they figure everything out. They got a lot of pieces to that gumbo in the pot. They just got to figure out at what point do you put this sauce in, that sauce in. I think next year will be the year that they figure all that out. That's why I got them at number 9. At number 8, be clear, on paper, the New Orleans Pelicans should be a lot higher. They were really good around January in the NBA season last year, but then Zion goes down. I have to put the Pelicans this low because I got to protect myself from Zion. He just gets hurt entirely too often, and usually his injuries are season enders. I got the Pelicans at number 8 despite really liking their talent on paper. At number 7, look, I don't want to be the injury guy here, but I don't understand how people do these power rankings and ignore the injuries, so I got the LA Clippers at this spot. Yes, on paper, Kawhi plus PG equals top 4 seed out west. But what if I set off the disclaimer that Kawhi and PG have never played more than about 40-some 50 games in Los Angeles? Are you picking Kawhi plus PG plus 45 games to be a top 4 seed out west? I don't think so. And that's what they've been. And I can't put them any higher than that. At some point, we got to start bringing injuries into the equation with these specific teams that I aforementioned. At number 6, I'm rolling with the Golden State Warriors. I really like the addition of Chris Paul. I do think it's going to take some time to figure out how it makes sense, though, for them defensively, because this is an older team. They got Klay Thompson, who's in a huge contract year for the future of his career. It comes down to this season. I think it's going to take a while. I could definitely see some hot head moments on that Warriors squad. And number 5, the team that eliminated the Warriors in the playoffs last year, my Los Angeles Lakers. Now, the Lakers look great on paper. I thought they had one of the top 3 all seasons last year. But the reality is, in the regular season, there are going to be nights that Darvin Ham decides to play LeBron James under 35 minutes. There are going to be nights where Darvin Ham decides to give Anthony Davis a break. Are you really going out and trusting Rui Hachimura and Austin Reeves to win you a crap ton of regular season games? I think they'll be competitive. I don't think seeding will matter as much to this Lakers team. They know their destination goes through Denver at some point in the postseason. I think they just want to be competitive, try to hang around that top 4 or 5 seed spot as we get close to the playoffs. I don't think they're going to be too concerned, though, with home court throughout the playoffs. At number 4, I got the Sacramento Kings. I have them coming back one spot. Be clear, Domantas Sabonis and De'Aaron Fox were absolutely money in Sacramento. They lit the beam all last year. I don't think this has anything to do with them getting any worse this offseason. It just comes down to Phoenix getting Bradley Beal, if I'm being honest with you. Sacramento's going to be really good again. At number 3, I mentioned to you guys the Phoenix Suns. A lot of people will have Phoenix number 1. I do believe they're going to win a lot of regular season games. But, another one of those teams where their destination is the postseason. They got to be really careful with Kevin Durant. He's pretty much averaging 120-plus game injury a year. So I think Phoenix will get out to some hot stars. I wouldn't be shocked if they get out to 11-2, 12-3. But I do believe Frank Vogel will pull it back a little bit, just kind of watching how he conducted and ran the ship in LA, because Frank Vogel knows this is a playoff team that's got one thing on their mind. And number two, I got the Memphis Grizzlies. I know Ja Morant's missing 20 games, 25 games, but this is still a pretty close to complete defensive group. They got a lot of weapons. They went and got Ja some moral support in Derrick Rose and Marcus Smart. I don't believe these dudes going to be watching Ja's whereabouts at midnight, 1 in the morning. But I will say this, these dudes can still ball, and they will take Ja Morant's spot on the court if Ja ain't doing what he's supposed to be doing at 1, 2, 3, 4 in the morning. I ain't telling the dude to not have fun, but just know you got dudes that can ball. Derrick Rose was an elite point guard that still believes he's got a lot of game left in him. He allegedly moved his entire family down to Memphis for a reason. He clearly knows this is somewhere that he could be for more than a season, all right? Memphis is complete. Jaren Jackson coming off Defensive Player of the Year. Desmond Bane's one of my favorite guards in the NBA. Watch out for Memphis, man. And at number one in the hood, the Denver Nuggets are a complete basketball team from top to bottom. And I do believe it'll be another regular season of them winning a lot of games. If not for Ja's injury, I probably would have picked Denver to be 2 and Memphis 1. But because of the injury, because of the Nuggets coming into the season healthy, I know they lost Bruce Brown. I get it. I know they lost Uncle Jeff. But, I mean, all things considered, they're bringing back their top 6 guys. They look great on paper. Jokic been horse riding all summer. He comes back to the league, and he's still Nikola Jokic. If you watch him in the preseason, the Nuggets, I think, will finish number 1 out west again. And I do believe they will enter the playoffs as the 1 seed, although I'm likely going to pick the Grizzlies once Ja Morant returns to win the darn thing. I got to see him back in action, though, first. But that's how I see the regular season standings moving and shaking out west. Denver Nuggets paying tribute to Brendan Malone, the father of Nuggets head coach Michael Malone, who was away attending his father's funeral, as Denver hosted the Chicago Bulls in the preseason. So Bulls sitting out most of their key guys. Nuggets giving their key guys some run, and let's just say Denver looks really good thus far. First thing first, though, how about the jam from Andre Drummond? But other end, it's Nikola Jokic and the defending champs picking up where they left off. Jokic up top to Aaron Gordon, and then this time around, it's Jokic with the easy layup. How about this time? Jokic's going to make it look easy, but it was not. The steal and the beautiful pass. Just replace guys with new guys. Doesn't that look just like Bruce Brown cutting and throwing it down? It's not, by the way. And then we got a 3-pointer from Julian Strawther. And then how about Jokic with a 3 of his own? The big fella, reigning finals MVP, had 15 points in this one. Jamal Murray had a couple more. He goes and 1 there. And then in the third, it's more good Nuggets basketball. Aaron Gordon with the English on this finish. A little don't mind if I do, jelly and jam. And then more Strawther. It looks like they found another nice piece. This dude's going to get in the rotation. Julian Strawther putting on a show for the Denver Nuggets. A game-high 23 points for Strawther. And just like that, the Nuggets are ready to defend their crown. They beat the Bulls in the preseason 116-102. Here's my top 5 guys in the 2023-24 MVP race. At number 5, I'm rolling with Joel Embiid. So in the past, I would have probably had Embiid higher because of the James Harden uncertainties. That probably would have meant Embiid's workload is going to be even more demanding. That might be the case, but coming off of winning the regular season MVP last year and not looking great in the postseason, oftentimes voters use that against guys. I don't believe it will be easy for Embiid to repeat as MVP. At number 4, I had to drop my guy, the Greek Freak, down a couple spots. Giannis has been pretty much atop my MVP list with Jokic the last few years, but because he's got Dame, his usage is coming down. Lillard's also a big shot maker, actually a legendary big shot maker. Late in games, though maybe Giannis dominated the game minutes 0 through 47, Dame's going to be the guy to step up and make those big shots Think kind of LeBron James and Kyrie Irving when they were together in Cleveland. That's why I pulled Giannis back a little bit. And I'm pulling Jason Tatum up a little bit at number 3. I definitely believe Tatum has been teetering with that MVP for probably up and through February of the last few years. And then he starts to kind of like teeter off towards the end of the regular season. At some point, you got to believe this dude's going to break through. If the Celtics are able to get the 1 seed out east with the Bucks being around, you got to believe Tatum's going to be in some serious MVP consideration. At number 2, Luka Doncic, man. If that's the hot money bet every year to pick him as your MVP, he's going to get one of them bad boys sooner than later. Have you seen that Dallas Mavericks roster? And did you see how they play basketball post Kyrie? Okay, one of these dudes is going to have to be extraordinary for these Dallas Mavericks to have any success. If Dallas were able to be competitive in the West, I'm going to give a lot of that credit to either Luka or Kyrie. My assumption is it'll be Luka. Kyrie probably will defer. And if that is the case, then Luka would probably be close to being the MVP, if not the MVP. And at number 1, I'm rolling with Ola Reliable. Nikola Jokic is still him. He's still him. He's entering legendary territory. So if Jokic were to win another MVP, now we're starting the conversation of Jokic is not only a top 25 player, he's entering that top 15 conversation around Dirk, around KG. He's in his prime right now. Jokic's prime is not tomorrow, it's today. He's not going to do this thing called basketball forever. He loves horse racing. He's in his prime right now, at the peak of his pinnacles right now, with a team that's primed and poised to make another run at it. The way the Denver Nuggets are structured, his stats are going to be off the chain. He might average a triple-double this year. They've already gotten that championship hump off their back, so he can go out and average his triple-double like he wanted to last year, got close to doing last year. There's no reason for Mike Malone to shut him down at the end of this regular season because the Nuggets have already proven what they can do. That's why I got Jokic atop my MVP race going into the 2023-24 season. Damian Lillard made his Milwaukee Bucks debut in the preseason in Los Angeles against the Lakers. The stars were out, kinda. No LeBron, but you did have the Greek Freak taking on Anthony Davis, which is always must-see TV. You see Giannis going right at AD, and then the Greek Freak doing it on both ends of the court. Defense leading the offense. Dame's like, oh, all I got to do is give that dude the ball, and he'll do the rest? I ain't never had nothing like that. Lillard is going to nail his first 3 as a Buck there. Couple of teases of the jab. He finally pulls it off. Creates the space, nails the 3. Milwaukee up by 4. Other end we go, it's Anthony Davis for show. Fadeaway jump shot is good for the big fella. And then both teams are going to turn the rock over. Rui Hachimura would end up with it, and he knows where to get it to. AD with another deuce inside. Right before the half, it's Lillard switching hands and connecting plus the foul. And in the third quarter, it's Dame time. And Milwaukee faithful will quickly find out, usually when it's Dame time, it's game time. Lillard nails the 3. Other end, it's Cam Reddish. Couple of new Lakers getting it done. Reddish with the 3, and then Jackson Hayes faking the pass, keeping it for himself, and throwing it down. Sheesh Louise. As we close out the third quarter, it's Reddish again for 3. Two teams that got high expectations going into the season. It's campaign finding Matthew Dellavedova for 3. In this one, the Bucks win 108-97. For your top 10 duos in the NBA, for an honorable mention, I got Luka Doncic and Kyrie Irving. Obviously, on paper, they should be higher than 10. They just don't play well together. At number 10, though, I got Ja Morant and Jaren Jackson. Ja, a great offensive talent. Jaren, a great defensive talent. Makes sense to have them on the list. At number 9, I got De'Aaron Fox and Domantas Sabonis. They are climbing this list quickly. The two lefties play excellent off each other. That pick and roll basketball, pick and pop basketball that the Kings do features these two guys a lot, and they're great at it. At number 8, I got Jimmy Butler and Bam Adebayo. If we were really talking about the regular season, if I'm being honest with you, I probably wouldn't have Jimmy and Bam on this list because they actually like to alternate great series in the postseason. But because they're so darn great in the playoffs, and because they figured out, okay, this is Bam series, okay, this is Jimmy series, I got to give them the benefit of the doubt for the amount of success that they've had over the last few years. At number 7, Kawhi Leonard and Paul George. When these two got together, they were supposed to be the greatest forward tandem we have ever seen on the perimeter. Matter of fact, the greatest since Mike and Scotty. They have not been that just yet, but be clear, when these two dudes lock in, they are missing nothing offensively or defensively. Their skill sets are phenomenal. It's just about getting them to the court. Number 6, Kevin Durant and Devin Booker. Obviously, incorporating Bradley Beal will probably make these three the top trio. But from a duo perspective, Durant and Book can get theirs, but the Suns can also still not win. That's why I can't put them any higher than 6. Booker now is going to get to the point where he's better than Durant. We'll see if Booker being better and Durant coming down a little bit because he's still phenomenal himself. How does that kind of balance them out? What does that look like as a team for the Phoenix Suns? At number 5, Joel Embiid and James Harden was spectacular last year in the regular season. They were. They really were that darn great. I know the postseason wasn't great for either of the two. Harden had a couple of great games against Boston, but overall, Embiid and Harden didn't have the greatest postseason second round. But before they got to the postseason, in the regular season, they looked great together. They looked every bit of it in the regular season playing off each other. James was deferring to Embiid, and it was working. At number 4, I'm going to go LeBron and AD. When Anthony Davis is playing hard on both ends of the court, he's arguably a top 5 player. He's just got to play hard on both ends of the court. LeBron James, at this point in his career, even being in these conversations, is crazy. At number 3, I'm going with Jokic and Murray. Now, some people will have them at 1, coming off of what they did in the postseason last year. I got to see them do that again. I've never seen Jamal Murray play that great how he played in the postseason last year. Let's just see if he can do it again. At number 2, Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown. These are two dogs walking in your building, and they got food on their mind. At number 1, I got Giannis and Dame. I know they're not proven, but if you're just looking at their skill sets, they fit seamlessly off each other. Giannis, a dog. Dame, a great scorer. They atop my list of top 10 duos in the NBA. Could this be FERRO's NBA Finals picks? Damian Lillard and the Milwaukee Bucks hosting the Memphis Grizzlies, who are obviously without the services of Ja Morant for the first 25 games of the season. So no Ja in the preseason, but we had a lot of Giannis. The Greek Freak goes deuce plus the foul. And then Dame Dolla's like, okay, I can get with this. He nails the fadeaway. And how about the steal from Giannis? He looks fantastic going into the season. It's the Greek Freak with the easy transition throwdown. Giannis trying to get some more in the second. This time around, though, the reigning defensive player of the year, Jaren Jackson, says you will get nothing and you will like it. Zaire Williams been really good in the preseason. He loves that fake at the three-point line, and if you give him a lane, he's throwing it down. He's back and looks really good. So does the Milwaukee Bucks. Damian Lillard ain't never left. Well, technically he left teams, but y'all know what I meant. He had 19 points. Desmond Bane's going to have to do a lot of the scoring until Ja comes back. He had 24 points in this one. New Grizzly Marcus Smart finally able to give it a go in the preseason. Looks like the same Marcus Smart I'm used to. Greek Freak had 26 points, that beautiful reverse at the rim. Bucks are going to win this one as Marshawn Beauchamp gets the deuce. It's Milwaukee winning by 8. We already did the top 10 teams out east, the top 10 teams out west. Let's do a power rankings to kick off the year. Now, this is going to change throughout the season, but this is just how I see it as of right now. At number 10, I'm going to give Joel Embiid and the Philadelphia 76ers some love, even though they probably don't deserve it. With everything surrounding James Harden right now, I can't put them no higher than 10, even though they do got the regular season MVP on their team. At number 9, Los Angeles Clippers. I really could have went without them on the list if we're being honest. Injuries, man. Too many darn injuries. But again, on paper, Kawhi and PG, this is supposed to be the second coming of Michael Jordan and Scottie Pippen for darn's sake. We obviously know the skill sets of both Kawhi and PG are phenomenal. They just got to get to the court. Number 8, the Cleveland Cavaliers. I really like the addition of Max Strus. At number 7, the Golden State Warriors. I really like the addition of Chris Paul. Getting Jordan Poole out of the mix and defining what you are was an important offseason for the Warriors. At number 6, I really like Bradley Beal. I mean, come on now. The Suns are definitely a top-heavy team, But following that Damian Lillard trade, not a lot of people talked about how the Suns were able to grab a few little nice rotation players as well. We're talking about the Yusuf Nurkic's of the world, the Grayson Allens of the world, the Eric Gordons of the world. Nice pieces that will be important come April, May, and June if they make it that far. At number 5, I got the Los Angeles Lakers. I just think for the Lakers, the regular season will be semi-important. I thought they had a great offseason. I thought this is probably one of the better teams top to bottom that we got in the league. The reality is LeBron and AD, they're older though. And I look at Anthony Davis as the same age as LeBron. I know that sounds crazy to some, but to many, y'all get exactly what I mean by that. I look at the Lakers as having 2 darn near 40-year-olds on their team. That's why I can't put them any higher than 5, because 4-2-1, they all got young bucks. The Boston Celtics are number 4 on my power rankings to kick off the season. They took the most risks this offseason. They went out and messed with something that wasn't broke. We start talking about the Robert Williams, the Grant Williams, the Marcus Smarts of the world. Boston was really, really good. They're taking the chance of being great or this thing folding on the Celtics' face. When you add a Kristaps Porzingis and you add a Drew Holiday, I mean, you're taking chances. I do think it's going to work out, though, for Boston. That's why I got them at number 4. At number 3, I'm going to roll with the Memphis Grizzlies. I like the Grizzlies a lot. I do. I promise you I do. They're my preseason pick to win a championship. Ja's not there yet. When he gets back, we'll have this conversation again with Memphis. I do think they're going to go about 17-8 without Ja in the mix, though. At number 2, I'm rolling with the Milwaukee Bucks. Giannis, Dame, they're going to win a lot of games. Simple. Rarely do you catch 2 guys who I believe are both in their primes. They don't get injured that much. They're great all-time competitors. Milwaukee's going to be fine, especially if Chris Middleton can figure that knee thing out. And at number 1 in the hood, your reigning NBA champs, the Denver Nuggets. Though they did not gain this offseason, they didn't lose a bunch. Bruce Brown was definitely a piece. Jeff Green was definitely a piece. The Nuggets really good at the scouting department. They went out and added a couple guys that could definitely be assets to their squad. Nikola Jokic, Jamal Murray, Aaron Gordon, Michael Porter Jr., Kentavious Caldwell-Pope. Nobody has more chemistry in their starting lineup in the league. Denver Nuggets at 1. They kick off the season atop the FERRO Power Rankings. This will change weekly. Cannot wait to deliver it to you guys. I thank y'all so much for supporting your boy. Welcome to the NBA season 2023-24. I am looking forward to being here for you every single night of the season, or as much as I can. If you enjoyed this great quality content, if you made it to this point in the video, I want to first and foremost thank you for your time. I want to second thank you for your love. And number 3, that support. Those 3 things are what your boy would never, ever take for granted. The moment I start to take that for granted is the moment I stop doing this, all right? Welcome to the NBA season 2023-24. This was my very extensive, fun pregame show that we tried to split up differently this time around. It kind of is going to show you how we're going to do highlights this year. Thank y'all so much for the time, love, and support. I'm out.
I want to salute you, homie, you know, for building your own thing and doing your own thing.
Why build theirs when I believe I can build my own?
You've already done it, or I wouldn't be here.
I'm already the only elite sports and music journalist in the game today. My goal is simple, to be the best there's ever been. So, please don't go. Make sure you subscribe and follow the journey. It truly means everything to me. I tell stories. I talk music. I cover sports. I am culture. I am FERRO.